What if I told you there are tribes out there whose traditions make horror movies look tame? From blood rituals to painful rites of passage, this is not for the faint of heart. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and help us reach our insane goal of 1 million subscribers this year. Are you in? Let's get into it.
Suri Tribe. In Ethiopia and parts of South Sudan, you'll find the Suri people. There are around 34,000 living in the southwest of Ethiopia and 3 groups of them in total: Termaga, Chai, and Bailey. Just like many other cultures, the Suri tribe has a traditional belief system with a sky deity called Tumu. One person in the tribe, the Komoru, acts as a mediator between the Suri people and the sky god. The Suri tribe members in Ethiopia tend to live in remote, semi-arid plains, foothills, and valleys, but that doesn't mean they're entirely isolated from other people. They actually have rivalries with neighboring groups from Sudan that raid Ethiopian territory. These rivalries have become quite serious, with the use of automatic firearms creating bloody battles. Most of the weapons have come from parties in the Sudanese Civil War. The Suri tribe is also quite culturally proud, and they have a number of practices that aren't commonplace in our modern world. For example, women beautify themselves for marriage by removing their bottom teeth, piercing their bottom lips, and inserting a clay lip plate. However, the more exposed they become to other cultures, the less common this practice is. Agori Tribe. The Agori group of people from Uttar Pradesh in India follow a unique way of life. There are about 70 known members, and they engage in post-mortem rituals that are certainly different from our own. While we hold simple funerals, the Agori people smear cremation ashes on their bodies and use human bones for making skull cups and jewelry. They believe many of their practices have healing powers, and they accept death as a natural part of the human experience. They also believe in healing through purification by transferring health to patients in a transformative healing process and drawing pollution away from them. This is because they believe in the superior state of body and mind of the Agori people. As natural as death is, many outsiders and tourists view Agori people with suspicion. Some say their lifestyles are damaging to Indian youth and that they live like animals, uncivilized, and in contrast to modern Hindu society. But their aim in life isn't to please others. They may be prevalent throughout India, Nepal, and parts of Southeast Asia, but they're quite a secret sect and have no desire for notoriety and social recognition. Mudmen Tribe. The Asaro tribe, also referred to as the Mudmen of Papua New Guinea, are a tribe of small numbers that wear traditional costumes, including masks made of mud. They live in a village called Goroka, which is positioned in the Eastern Highlands province of Papua New Guinea. So why do they wear masks? Well, your guess is as good as mine. There are so many theories out there, and it's possible that even they no longer know the real reason. In one version of events, an enemy tribe defeated them and forced them to flee to the Asaro River. Here, they met a man who gave them eyes to kill, whatever that means. They waited until dusk when they believed the one who was given the eyes to kill was captured. The enemy saw him rising from the muddy banks, covered in mud, and thought he was a spirit. Given that most tribes in Papua New Guinea are scared of ghosts, their enemies fled in fear. They returned to the village, not realizing that their enemies were still there. However, their enemies were so terrified that they ran back to their village and held a ceremony to ward off the spirits. Legend has it that they couldn't cover their faces with mud from the Asaro River as it was poisonous, so they made masks from pebbles. The Mercy. The Mercy, who refer to themselves as Moon, is a Sermic group in Ethiopia. They live close to South Sudan's border and consist of 11,500 members who speak the Mercy language as their mother tongue. Like many other East African agro-pastoralists, they have religious and spiritual practices. They believe in Tumwi, which is something that manifests in the sky as a rainbow, bird, or something else. They also have a Komoru that acts as a link between their god and the tribe. The role of the Komoru is to protect them, their cattle, and their crops. Their life cycles are certainly much different from ours as well. The Mercy are some of the last groups in Africa that still wear lip plates. These are wooden discs, pottery, or plates in their lower lips. When girls turn around 15 or 16, they typically have their lips pierced. Their plates are also used to earn extra money by attracting tourists. This tribe also takes place in ceremonial dueling, which is popular with Mercy men. It's basically ritualized male violence and tends to be more common in unmarried men. Dasala Tribe. Much of what we know of the Dasala tribe in the western Amazon basin comes from Brazilian explorer Sidney Passuelo, who made the first contact in 1996, and a journalist by the name of Paul Raphael. The tribe is one of the last remaining groups of people that live almost completely isolated from modern society, even though they have had a few violent interactions with neighboring communities. The main Dasala tribe consists of about 150 members, while an offshoot has around 24 members. The groups split after some members wanted to have contact with neighboring settlements while the majority didn't. All tribe members hunt and fight with clubs and sometimes use poison darts, but have no modern weapons. They also work up to 5 hours a day and live in communal huts called malokas. They don't have religious practices, but some sources say they have been known to practice infanticide. Both men and women also paint themselves with red dye from the ruku plant. Like most tribes that reject our modern way of life, they manage to get by just fine. They eat food like corn, fish, birds, wild pigs, and fruit, and they have a basic understanding of agriculture. However, the leading cause of death in their tribe is malaria. North Sentinelese. Perhaps one of the scariest tribes out of all tribes to shun our way of life is the Aboriginals of Andaman and Nicobar on North Sentinel Island. The Sentinelese people are pre-Neolithic and have been living on the island for about 55,000 years with no contact with the outside world. Efforts were made to reach out to them in the late 1960s, but to say it didn't go well is an understatement. They were hostile from day one, and the government finally gave up in the mid-1990s. To keep them safe from our diseases and to protect their sovereignty, there's a 5-kilometer buffer zone around their island. You might think that you can ignore that buffer zone and just go wandering onto the island for a look, but we wouldn't recommend it. 2 fishermen who were illegally harvesting crabs off the island never came back. A missionary also went there to preach Christianity, and he too never returned. Even 2 fishermen who ended up there accidentally never made it out alive. They attack anyone who comes near and have even tried to fire arrows at a helicopter. Basically, stay away from them if you want to live. Akuntsu Tribe. The Akuntsu tribe is one you may have never heard anything about. Unfortunately, it's one that's almost set to die out, with just around 4 people left in the tribe. They come from Rondônia in Brazil and speak a unique Akuntsu language. While their numbers may have thrived at one point, that all changed in the 1980s. Brazilian cattle ranchers perpetrated a massacre, almost completely wiping them out. It's believed that they launched the attack because if contact was made through official channels, their forest would be made into an indigenous reserve and closed to loggers and cattle ranchers. Those who remain after the attack live a simple life. They are hunter-gatherers, but also supplement their diet with some agriculture. Official contact was made with them in the late 1990s when it was discovered that they had just 7 members left at the time: 2 men, 3 women, and 2 young girls. In 2000, a tree fell on one of their homes, killing the youngest girl. The oldest member then died, followed by the shaman of the group, who died in his sleep. These events brought the number down to 4. Simbu Tribe. In the central highlands of Papua New Guinea, you will find the Chimbu or Simbu people. This name was given to them by Australian explorers in the early 1930s, who heard the word Simbu said by locals. It's a form of pleasant surprise in the Kumon language. They live in the Chimbu province in rugged mountain terrain that they've turned into their home with gardens. They don't live in villages, but create tiny settlements with oval houses and low thatched roofs, flattened reed-woven walls, and dirt floors. The men all live together in communal houses, while the women, children, and pigs live together in others. However, they've taken on some of our modern influence, with some men and women now living together. Even though these Simbu people don't have much, their pigs are their most prized asset. They use them as an exchange item in death rituals, marriage celebrations, and to thank women for birthing children. They also have a pig killing ceremony called a Bugla Ingu, which involves killing hundreds or thousands of pigs, cooking them, and distributing them. It's a form of exchange ceremony between tribes to maintain relationships. Korowai Tribe. The Korowai tribe, also known as Kalufo, lives in the Indonesian province of Papua near the border of Papua New Guinea. There are about 3,000 Kalufo, and they had no idea about the existence of other people outside of their own tribe until around the 1970s. Most of us were led to believe that their clans lived in tree houses, but this was later revealed to be false. According to the BBC, they had built the tree houses for the benefits of overseas program makers and didn't actually live in them. That's not to say their houses aren't high up, though. They build their homes above floodwater levels, which prevents damage while also stopping rival clans from capturing their women and children for cannibalism and slavery. That's right, I said it, cannibalism. We don't actually know for sure if it's even a thing now, but there have been claims that they practice ritual cannibalism, and it used to be a form of justice. Now, anthropologists believe clans with frequent contact with outsiders no longer carry out these practices. However, they may keep up with the charade to encourage tourism. Cujereño people. The Cujereño people, also known as the Namole, are hunter-gatherers and a nomadic indigenous tribe in the most remote parts of the Amazon rainforest. They mostly live in the Manu National Park within Peru's Madre de Dios region and speak a dialect of the Piro language. Their numbers are estimated to be between 100 and 250, which is up from the 1970s estimate of about 20 to 100. Typically, they actively avoid contact with non-native people, and we can't blame them for that. In the 1890s, Peruvian robber baron Carlos Fitzcarrald arranged for his army to slaughter most of the tribe in the upper Manu River area. Survivors made their way to remote forest areas, and they've basically stayed there ever since. There have been plenty of sightings of them in recent years, though. There are camps on the Las Piedras riverbanks, which they use during the dry season for fishing. During the wet season, they remain in the rainforest. Even though they mostly don't make contact with non-native people, some actually have. The BBC reported in 2013 that some had been asking villagers for food. The Peruvian government actually banned contact with them to keep them safe from our modern diseases.
Thanks for watching. If that blew your mind, wait till you see what's coming next. Subscribe and stay wild.